What's up guys, welcome back to Pat Outdoors. Today we're going to be checking out Aniioki's 2025 A9 Pro Max, which is their long range, dual motor, 5600 watt e-bike that claims to have a range of 200 miles and a max speed of 46 miles per hour. They came in two separate boxes. I'm pretty sure the smaller box has the front wheel in it, along with the battery, and the rest should be in the bigger box. Let's go unpack it, hook up the battery to the charger, and start assembling this bike because I am anxious to ride it. Here's everything that came in the two separate packages, starting with the bike rack. It's already got the LED taillight already mounted on there. It's a quick connect harness, user manual, toolkit, a couple zip ties, set of pedals, two keys, hardware for the head stem, turn signals. This is like a neon vest for safety. It came with a helmet. I've never actually seen that come with any bike before, but that's pretty nice of Aniioki to do that. A lock. This one I'm a little bit confused about. I received two seats with this bike. One came pre-mounted on the stem, and then the other one came separate. I don't see any differences between the two. If you guys happen to know if there's any difference between these two, comment below. Front fender, LED headlight. Sorry, got some new lighting in my garage. It's a little bit distracting with some reflections. This is the headlight bracket. Low profile mirrors, mirror mounts, and of course the front wheel. I'm thinking that the easiest way to assemble the A9 Pro Max, at least by myself, is to mount the basket on the back and then flip the bike upside down. Hopefully it stays in place so we can at least throw the front wheel on and then we can set it right back up again. Rack installation was pretty straightforward, pretty self-explanatory. Just the 4 bolts with the washers on them. I just threaded them in loose until all of them were fully in and seated, then I tightened everything down. The taillight was already mounted, just did a quick connector, and I zip tied the harness away from the wheel just to keep it from rubbing. But yeah, let's go flip this thing over and see if it stands on its own. What's crazy about this bike is not just the dual motor, but it's got 2 huge rotors for the front wheel. Yeah, this is crazy how much brake this bike has. These are really thick rotors on top of it being huge, and there being 2 of them. Not sure if these are actually 6-piston. From what I'm seeing inside, maybe a 2-piston, but you got 2 separate calipers for the front, which is insane for a bicycle. Starting to come together. We just got to throw the front fender on, along with mounting the handlebar, headlight, turn signals, mirrors, and I think we should be good to go. I filled the tire pressure up to 12 psi front and rear. I think this is a good starting point. I really like the knobby tread that these tires come with, and it's huge. This is not like your standard 26x4. I think this is like a 4.8-inch wide tire. Very different from all the bikes that we've received in the past. I think the closest thing that I got to this is the Aniioki Romeo Ultimate. I forgot what it was, but whatever the top tier Romeo is over there, it's got the 80 amp hour battery pack, dual motor, 5,000 watts of power. So I'm pretty sure that's a direct competition for this Aniioki, but this one seems to have slightly higher specs. Here's a closer look at how the headlight is mounted. Just the 2 mounting points on the side. Bracket bolts onto the bottom triple tree. Just 2 Allen bolts. Turn signals, not on the inside. And they're all just these quick connects. Though these turn signals are not labeled left or right, so we'll confirm if these are backwards and we'll just disconnect them and switch them around. Pretty simple. Head stem bolted on. Unlike the Aniioki, the headset actually came fully seated right out of the box. I think all we gotta do at this point is just throw the pedals and the mirrors on, throw the battery in, and take this thing out for a test. All right, we are done assembling this thing. Just threw the battery on. Definitely seems like it's got a lot of features that I'm not used to. Like, look at this. It's got a freaking alarm on there. And apparently this display has a camera at the front. So we definitely have quite a lot of features to discover. But for now, I just want to take this out for the first time and get my initial impressions. But one thing I am worried about is the seat height. Man, this thing is tall as hell. Just for some perspective, I'm 5'8", and there's no way I'm gonna be able to, it's not even tiptoeing. I literally cannot touch both sides. What am I trying to say?
That thing is not for the vertically challenged.
This bike is not for the vertically challenged. This thing's pretty much as tall as my full-size dirt bike, and the seat post is all the way down already. I got my buddy Twan here looking at it, trying to figure out how to turn this thing on, because I cannot figure it out. There's a lock, unlock, and then there's this button down here.
Okay, so that does need to be
Makes all
pushed down.
sorts of noises.
Hello, Aniioki.
Wow, that is fancy. How did you do that?
Short press the lightning button twice.
I should probably start reading the user manual before I start using a bike next time.
You know what? Don't feel bad, I was line 2, okay?
It says it's recording right now.
Yeah, that display is pretty crazy looking.
These buttons are like soft touch. Whoa, it's like a whole interface. Oh,
Yeah, that's probably
What
enter
the
button,
heck?
accept button.
whoa, that's cool. Okay, so you can do it from the button here on the display or up here.
Yeah, I was supposed to change the drive mode.
Holy shit, what is that?
Probably walk mode.
Oh, so if you hold the minus button, it puts it in a walk mode. Oh, that's pretty cool. So I just dropped this bike, as you may have seen, because I was holding the bike on the left handle and it slid right out. And as you can see, the thing inside the handle that expands to keep it in place is not even touching the handlebar. So just keep that in mind if you're gonna get one of these brand new. Just double check that it's assembled correctly as far as the handlebar. In this case, I have to loosen the left-hand controls, left brake, everything, and slide it over about an inch or so, just so this thing can be properly installed. So to turn this thing on, you just click the bottom button on the key fob twice. Well, unlock it first, then click the button twice.
Hello, Aniioki.
That is fancy, but I still kind of wish that they made that a little bit simpler. Man, of course it would start raining as soon as we take this thing out. I currently have it on mode 2, and one thing I like so far is how the pedal assist kicks in. It feels very natural. But yeah, it just started pouring as soon as I went around the block. You want to take it out for a spin? So Twan's 5'11", and look at that. The headlight looks pretty bright. Might have to reschedule our ride. I want to give this bike like a solid bolt check before I go out on a long journey, because I'm trying to do like 80 miles, 100 miles with you. I would like to compare this with the Aniioki. Just from riding it around the block, any impressions?
The acceleration is pretty brisk. I hit the speed bump pretty fast too.
Oh no.
It probably wasn't as flush as I expected, but you know, that probably just needs adjustment, you know? But it seemed like it had more suspension power than the other bikes have.
I mean, we'll find out as we ride it more. Yeah, there's a lot of features to discover. I mean, I like the fact that it comes stock with turn signals. That's something I wish the Aniioki came with. And I like that there's a high beam and low beam. This is the 2025 A9 Pro Max by Aniioki. They've made a few updates since last year's model, starting with the direct drive hub motors. They changed over from geared hub motors since these are supposed to require less maintenance, no oiling needed. They operate a lot smoother as far as transitioning between acceleration and decel, and they're also much quieter overall. They've also reinforced the wheel structure. So you can see there's a ton of spokes and they're a lot thicker than your typical. It just increases the load capacity and increases overall durability. The 2025 model now also has three 300mm disc brake rotors between the front and the rear. The front, these look like 6-piston calipers, but I look closely and they are actually dual piston for each one. But the rear is true 6-piston. So it's just got a ton of braking power. What's interesting about this is the front brake is not actually a front brake. It's part of their CBS system. It goes to this splitter that redistributes the hydraulic fluid between 3 lines. So it's a 4-way splitter, 1 going in, 3 going out. 2 are going to the 2 front calipers and 1 is going to the back. It's kind of their form of ABS that redistributes the braking power all around the bike, just so it's a much smoother and stronger braking force. But we'll see how that actually performs. This dual crown fork is supposed to be 30% thicker as far as construction compared to the 2024 model. It looks pretty similar to the one on my Aniioki, but we'll see how it rides, see if it feels any different. The battery also now comes with an aluminum casing. This is supposed to be 4mm thick, just for added durability and protection instead of a typical plastic casing. The battery comes in 2 configurations, 70 amp hour, which is what this is, and 80 amp hour. Both are supposed to have a pedal assist range of over 200 miles and throttle only range between 80 to 86 miles, depending on which size you go with. The 2025 model also now comes with 2 independent sine wave controllers, which are located here for better heat dissipation, more power overall. This has a 5600 watt power output, and it's also safer in case one controller fails. You're not completely stranded. Yeah, this thing is tall as hell, but I think I'm gonna get used to it pretty quickly since I usually ride bigger bikes off-road. So I don't see how this is any different. I'm gonna jump straight into mode 5. Dual motor, since that's what we're mostly interested in here. Oh dang, it picks up pretty quickly. We're already going over 40 miles per hour. Oh, not bad. We haven't even left the neighborhood yet and we're going over 40. We had 44 back there. The fork feels a little bit stiff. I might end up letting a little bit of air out. It might be set up for a slightly heavier rider. Yo, this thing is actually pretty fast. And the speedo is pretty accurate. The display was showing 47 miles per hour, but the GPS showed 46 miles per hour. So it's only 1 mile per hour off, which is a lot more accurate than most manufacturers that have been testing recently. So props to Aniioki for being honest with their specs that they claim. So far at least. I don't know about range. I'm definitely gonna have to make an adjustment on the suspension though before I go on a long ride on this, because the front end does seem pretty stiff for my weight. Just for perspective, I'm 175 pounds currently. Let's see if I can let a little bit of air out. Obviously, I don't have any tools on me, so I should probably not do too much. Just a little bit. Turn down the compression. Okay, yeah, the front suspension definitely improved a little bit. I'm gonna make some fine adjustments over time. Oh yeah, definitely a lot better after letting a little bit of air out and turning down the compression. You know what, screw it, let's just hop on the street. There's too many people walking on the sidewalks here. I think I'm actually gonna take this out on a one-on-one test with the Aniioki to see how they compare as far as speed, range. Hoping my buddy Tuan can come with me. We're gonna do a long journey. I'm gonna check out the front wheel feel like there's some sort of balance issue going on here. I don't know if the tire's just not seated 100% smoothly on the wheel. I might let some air out, reseat that, and see if I can get it a little bit smoother and more balanced. Because I can see in the shadow that the front end is vibrating quite a bit, at least at higher speeds. Oh, you know what? That CBS actually works out pretty good. So the right is just the rear, and oh, that does not feel that powerful in comparison to the size and the weight of the bike, I guess. It won't even lock up the rear. But if you press both of them at the same time, wow, that's pretty good actually. You know what? This thing actually has no problem going over curbs and stuff because the wheels are so big. I was concerned about that since this thing's like almost 200 pounds. I was intimidated to ride this at first because of how tall it is. It's actually meant for riders 5'9" to 6'4", and I'm below that whole range. I kind of got used to it pretty quickly since it's kind of just like riding a motorcycle. All right, let's try out the pedal assist on 5. All right, definitely ghost pedals as soon as you pass like 30 miles per hour. Holy cow though. I'm ghost pedaling and I'm going 48 miles per hour, says the display. Can this thing still be considered a bike at this point though? I feel like this is just a motorcycle. Yeah, this thing has absolutely no trouble keeping up with traffic. All right, can we still consider this a bicycle at this point, or is this just a motorcycle with pedals? Flat ground on the highway. We just hit 47 miles per hour on the GPS. Definitely got a lot more features to go over. I want to test out the camera, the music. It's a pretty cool feature to have. You can also charge your phone. There's a USB port right here. I'm gonna do further testing with this and do another video because I really want to do like 100-something mile range test. Let me know if you guys are interested in that. If you want to check out more information on the Aniioki A9 Pro Max, I'll have a link to their website in my description. I really like this twist throttle. I hate it when e-bike companies do the whole half twist throttle. It just doesn't make sense to me. Can't really get a good grip on there. But I love how this has like a motorcycle style full twist throttle. So this thing's priced right at, I think it's like $37.99 for this specific model with the 70 amp hour battery. I get a lot of comments on some of my e-bike videos. Some people mention, hey, why don't you just get a Sur-Ron for 4,000 something? And it's just a different class of bikes. I can't really compare it to that. I mean, I have a Talaria, I've had a Sur-Ron before. It's not something I'm unfamiliar with. To me, a Sur-Ron is like a BMW M3, and then this is like a fully loaded F-150 Limited. I look at this thing more as a utility vehicle that happens to go almost 50 miles per hour and has a lot of features. It really depends on what you specifically are looking for. All right, quick mileage check. So we did exactly 10.02 miles on this specific ride, and we sucked up about 20% battery. Keep in mind, I only pedaled for maybe 20 seconds of this whole ride. And this was on dual motor, highest power mode the whole time. And we're probably cruising 40 something for majority of it. I'm gonna do a full on range test with these two bikes just to compare them both at the same time, since these seem to be the competitors on the market. So initial ride impressions. I think the A9 Pro Max has quite a lot to offer. It's got plenty of speed. I'm surprised to see that it goes slightly faster than what the manufacturer claims. It usually goes the opposite way. It's got decent braking power. I think it's appropriate for the weight and size of the bike. It's got a 500-pound load capacity and comes standard with a rack, which gives me a lot of options as far as what I can do with this bike. I think I'm gonna throw a basket and some cargo bags maybe on the side and do some long distance stuff with this. I really want to see how it compares in speed and range in comparison to the other bike. So stay tuned if you want to see that video. I'm going to ride at least 100, 120 miles and see how both of them do at a pace like 30 miles per hour or so. I've definitely still got a few things to look over, such as the vibration coming from the front wheel. I think the tire just has to be slightly reseated and I gotta reduce the tire pressure down to maybe 10 PSI and reduce a little bit of the air in the front fork just to smoothen out the suspension a little bit more. Let me know if you guys have any suggestions or questions. If you enjoyed today's video, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you like this kind of content, want to keep up with some of my projects, some of my product reviews, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn your bell notification on. If you want to check out Aniioki's A9 Pro Max, I'll have a link to their website in the description below. But this is going to be it for today. Thank you for watching.